Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Marzuki, student Faculty of Law at Al-Azhar University, Indonesia. Today I will present a land under Indonesian Basic Agrarian Law, Undang-Undang Pokok Agraria atau biasa disebut UPA. In this presentation, I will explain the legal basis of land rights in Indonesia, the main types of land rights recognized by UPA, the key principle governing tenure and land use, and current challenge and reform affecting implementation. I hope this session will provide a clear legal framework and useful points for discussion. Thank you for attention. For the introduction, I will explain first land rights constitution, one of the most important legal constitution in Indonesia. Legal agrarian law basic system under basic agrarian law, law number 5 of 1960. Land rights is regulated as a legal relation between individuals or legal entities and land under the supervision and authority of the state. The rights of not are absolute private property rights, but rather than the legal entitlements that are subject to statutory limitations, social function, and public interest. The basic law was enacted to establish a unified national land law and to eliminate the dual of agrarian regulation inherited from the colonial period. In the legal framework, several forms of land rights are recognized, including the rights of ownership, the rights of cultivate, the rights to build, and the right of use, and the other related rights. Each type of the rights has different legal characteristics, holders, durations, and scope authorities. Therefore, understanding the land rights in Indonesia by the UPA is essential for comprehending the structure of Indonesia agrarian law, the legal position of landholders, and the balance between individual interests and social welfare. This presentation will discuss the concept types and the illegal implication of the land rights under the basic agrarian law in Indonesia. I will discuss the concept of the land rights in Indonesia basic law, basic on law, agrarian law, reflect an important shift from colonial and administration toward unified national agrarian system. Through law number 5 of 1960, the state sought to create legal certainty while so ensuring that land would serve social justice and public welfare. This means the land is not treated merely as a private asset, but a legal object that carries social obligation. One of the most important features of the UUPA is that recognizes the several forms of land rights, each with the different legal character. The right of ownership is the strongest form, while the other rights, such as the right to cultivate, right to build, and right to use, are more limited in scope and duration. In this discussion, show that the law do not give every land holders the same level of authority of instead regulated use according to purpose and legal status. Another important point is that land rights under UUPA are always subject to the principle of the social function of the land. In practice, principle limits the absolute control landholders and requires them to use land in manners that benefit both themselves and society. As the result, land rights in Indonesia not purely provide rights, they are also part of the broader social and legal orders. From the academic perspective, this framework does demonstrate the balance between individual entitlement and the state regulation. It also supports national development, public interest, and equitable land administration. The UPA recognizes several categories of land rights, each with different legal characteristics, scope, duration. Principal form include rights ownership, hak milik, the right to cultivate, hak guna usaha, the right to build, hak guna bangunan, the right of use, hak guna pakai, and the right of lease, hak sewa. Among those rights of ownership is the most complete, the most and strongest of the land, granting the holder the fullest authority to use, propose, and transfer the land, subject to statutory restriction and the land social function. By contrast, the rights of the general limited is purpose, duration, and transferability are granted specific use as agriculture, construction, and occupation. The UPA further provides the land rights may held by Indonesian citizens, the legal entities, and certain cases, foreign person or foreign legal entities subject to limitation established by the law. Each land rights carries both entitlements and obligation. The holder is required to use the land in accordance with the design purpose, observe registration requirement, and comply with the relevant public law obligation, including the administration and taxation. In addition, the land are not absolute as they remain subject to principle of the social function of the land, meaning that the land must be used for the benefit of the people and in accordance in the public interest. In legal terms, UPA established that land rights in Indonesia are not merely private property interests but also are social, public, and public order rights regulated by state statute. Accordingly, the holders of the land rights enjoy the legal protection, but protection is balanced by the obligation imposed by the law and by the border principle that must serve social welfare. Here is the clear English explanation of the land rights in Indonesia Basic Agraria Law. Undang-Undang Pokok Agraria Law Number 5, 1960. The explanation cover the legal basis, the main type of rights, who may hold, basic content of the rights, and the social function limitation. Legal basis and principle. UPA established that all the lands in Indonesia ultimately under the state control and that legal land rights derived from the state authority. The law aims to unify the land and to recognize customary rights or compatibility with national. Article 6, social function required that every land rights to exercise with the regards to the public interest and social welfare. So rights are not absolute but carry social obligation. Main types of the land in Indonesia. First, hak milik, right of ownership. The strongest, the most complete individual rights, inheritable and transferable, permitting full of use, possession, and disposing of land, subject to statutory limits. Hak guna usaha, the right to cultivate, or the rights for agriculture enterprise. Rights granted for a specific business agriculture use on the state land, for a specific firm to cultivate and exploit the land. Hak guna bangunan, the rights to build. Rights construction and own buildings on land belonging to others, including state land, for limitation period, commonly up to 30 years, with possible extension, subject to in condition. Hak pakai, right to use, is right to use, collect the produce of the land, state-owned or private, for certain purpose and periods, which may be granted to individuals, entities, and in this limited transferability. Hak sewa, lease or rental rights, contractual right to use land owned by by other in exchange for rent, regulated by agreement, limited duration, and transferability. And then the last, other specific rights to open the land, collect the forest production right for secrets of social use, under customary or statutory form recognized by regulation. Here the conclusion. Land rights under Indonesian Basic Law, we call UUPA, are designed to create legal certainty, fairness, and social justice in the use of the control of the land. The UUPA recognizes several types of lands, including ownership, cultivation, building use, and the rights, each with different subject, purpose, and time limits. A key principle of the UUPA is that every land right has social function, so the land cannot use solely for individual benefits without regarding the public interest. In practice, UUPA serves as the main legal foundation for balancing right, state control, community welfare in Indonesia agrarian system. Thank you very much. That's all for my presentation. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.